Stuart, I'd like to ask you uh, about the thing you've been asking lately to receive and be bathed in higher consciousness and higher spiritual energy, and that the energy is the energy of love. What I'm interested in doing, besides asking for myself, is asking for others. Is that appropriate?
Yes, because if you ask for yourself and build yourself, you're going to be able to do wonders for others.
Yes.
So asking for yourself is really asking for the entire human race.
Mhm.
You know, you have to get, it's basically what it is. As I've said 100 times in the last 2 weeks, you build a system inside that transforms the world around you. You get strength inside that can nurture other people who want to be nurtured. You understand? There's no sense running after people that don't want to be nurtured. But if somebody wants to be nurtured, you build the strength inside to be able to do it. So, building yourself is really participating in the reconstruction of the entire human race, frankly. I really mean it,
Yeah.
because it takes a lot of strength to be able to nurture other people, to not let yourself get in the way, to not have opinions. It's like I said today in class, somebody asked me, I said, when I do this meditation, I have no favorites. Understand? I can't allow my personal taste to get involved. I'm serving God. Every person that's here is supposed to be here because they want a spiritual life. So there are no favorites. There are no people I prefer or others. It's just nurturing everyone, having to uplift the life of every single person that attends these classes. So yes, Pat, when you fix yourself, you are working to fix the entire human race. I mean, in the Hebrew Jewish Bible somewhere it says if you save one life in your lifetime, the gates of heaven open, and you can take it one step further. That life has to be one's own.
Yes.
So yes, you get strong enough to nurture somebody else. They can put up with somebody else's bullshit as long as they want the spiritual life. And they working, to fix themselves. Then hey, you have the strength to help them. And we have to build that strength. Money doesn't fix a lot. I mean, they throw trillions of dollars at countries and this, and the world is still an insane place. So yes, work on yourself, and it will attract people into your life that you'll be able to help enormously. And it's not only you, it's everybody here. In the Old Testament in the Bible, there's a pages pages. When I was younger, I used to read that book occasionally, and there were that section in the Genesis, I think, is this pages of so and so bequeathed. It just goes on and on and on and on. And when I first heard it, I said, "What the hell is this about?" So, and then I began to realize what they were talking about is the passage of the teachings from generation to generation. And they were giving birth to people that were able to receive the teachings. And so the teachings could move from generation to generation. And it's no different in what we do. My job is to nurture people so that this extraordinary thing that I learned from Rudy can be passed on from generation to generation. I'll never forget when I first read that. I shook my head and said, "What the hell?" Pages of people bequeathing people. I said, "What the hell is this?" And then I realized there's subtext to this. There's an understanding that goes beneath the words of what is going on, and that's the teachings
Mm.
being passed from generation to generation. So they sustain themselves in the world. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Pat. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, me too.
Stuart, I have a question.
Good. My day wouldn't be complete, Bob, if you didn't ask a question.
Somehow it feels as if that was the reason I was born, was to ask questions.
Well, thank you, and God bless you. Ask away.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, my first order of business, and I'm not sure if it's first, but my understanding is the first order of business is the nurturing of myself. Is that correct?
Yes, Bob. Because if you don't do that, everything else, you just live in a world full of chaos. That's the first order of business. Like in the medical profession, they have a thing, maxim, physician, heal thyself. And I think that's fantastic. I wish doctors would listen to that, heal themselves, and then they can heal other people. That's the first order of business, fixing oneself, getting inner peace, developing a strong connection with higher energy in the universe, allowing that energy to not only nurture yourself, but other people. And people are starving to death on this planet. They're starving to death. And I don't only mean physical food, spiritually, people are starving to death. They need so much nurturing. And hopefully, other people get strong enough to be able to do it. It's a very difficult situation. Because people really are hungry. But they substitute money, they substitute power, they substitute depression, unhappiness for the real need. And that really is a connection with spirit, a higher energy that'll elevate their life. That's the first thing, first order of events. Fix yourself, physician, heal thyself. Human beings, heal yourselves. I really mean it. And I don't know who talks that way. Nobody, people. Stop this crap. You're going to build the Riviera, you know, in Gaza. I mean, it's insane. I mean, heal yourself. If people would heal themselves, then there probably wouldn't be a Gaza problem. And on both sides, on all sides. So yes, well, that's the first order of business. Fix yourself. Physician, heal thyself. Yogis, heal yourselves.
So, Stuart, I have another question. So, how do you decide who you will work with when somebody comes and asks for help?
Well, you have things, look, you have, if for whatever reason you're not ready to help that person, you can send them to somebody who is. You understand? God gives us so many opportunities to make choices about the way we interact with other human beings. I mean, when I was younger, if somebody came to me and they wanted a spiritual life, I would send them to Rudy. I would go to Rudy. Go, this is a great teacher here who can truly save your life. And eventually, through years of work, it evolved where I'm not saying I'm a great teacher, but it evolved where I can help people. Well, send them here. Send them to somebody who can truly help them and grow yourself to where you get in the position where you can do something similar. And it always used to crack me up, where I would be sitting in Rudy's store and people would come in and he would be sitting there and can I help you with something? And they, oh, we're just looking. And it used to crack me up. I'm looking at Rudy, I'm seeing auras of light coming out of him, the greatest teachings I've ever been confronted with in my life. And he said, well, we're just looking. It was like a metaphor for the way the world lives. Everybody's looking for a freaking answer, and it's right in front of their nose. I mean, I always heard that from Rudy. I remember I've told this story, when I was living in Texas and I get a call from a woman in the Baptist church. There are 2,000, 3,000 people in their congregation on a Sunday morning. And the minister of the church gets up in front of this group, this congregation, and announces to them that the devil lives in the ashram. I really mean this. She said, Stuart, I know you. I know the people there. You're really kind, good people. You really work hard. She said, why did my minister get up and say the devil lives in the ashram? I mean, I had probably the worst month of my life that month. Really, I was expecting the Ku Klux Klan to come visit with burning crosses and rifles. And, I'll never forget that. And I had a month of this. And I said, what am I going to do? And I remember Rudy always told me the answer's right in front of your nose. So I looked in front of my nose, and honestly, there was a flower shop across the street from where I used to have this antique store in Denton, Texas. Selby's or Selwyn's or something like that, And I remember, and they always had a big sign there, night cometh. Cracked me up. Night cometh, And anyway, I went across and I said, Mr. Selby, I want to buy $100 worth of your flowers. And I'd like them to be sent to the head the minister was in charge of the Baptist church. And I wrote him a letter. And the letter said, I told him about all the things we did at the ashram, helping young people get off of drugs and working in prisons. And it was all true. The universities, we even ran the Miss Denton contest there. I remember they came to us to run the Miss Denton contest because that was a really important thing in Denton, Texas, because from Denton, Texas, there were 2 Miss Americas. So this was like a sacred thing they would do and they came to the ashram to run the Miss Denton contest. I remember that, Bob. It was unbelievable. We had one of the Miss America's mother running a fashion show in our restaurant. I mean, it was something unbelievable. Anyway, I sent this letter to the head of the Baptist church, telling him all the things. And at the end of the letter and if you really want to find out what goes on in the ashram, you have a standing invitation to come to dinner at our house anytime you want to come. And I sent them a letter like this. It was right in front of my nose. And I had one of the worst months of my life. I really was scared shitless. They were going to, the Ku Klux Klan was going to come and the righteous religious people were going to come. And I mean, Denton was a pretty left, right-wing, kind of conservative place. Anyway, about a month later, I get a letter from the head of the Baptist church apologizing to me, saying, I didn't really know what went on in your group. I didn't know the things you do in the community. I didn't know, anything about you. And I heard some things and I will never do it again. I will never do it again. I'll never forget that. It brought tears to my eyes. I really began to understand Gandhi politics, the politics of love. And I don't think I told anyone in the ashram about this. I was afraid to. Everybody go out and buy rifles and guns, become an insane asylum, But it worked out. God took care of it. And the answer was right in front of my nose. Right in front of my nose. So you have to fix yourself. And if somebody comes and they want help and they want a spiritual help, I know people that do this, you can give them emails. It could be me, somebody else. I don't know. I don't care. But guide them and build a system to where one day everyone sitting here can do it for other people, help them, find 2 things, the highest levels of their humanity, and the second one, a connection with God. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? And Bob, you help people, you help people. I don't know much about your personal life, but I know there are a lot of people in America with that movie you did and everything in it. And, it helps a lot of people, Bob. And I think it's wonderful, the things you've done. And I've known you such a long time, and I've seen you contribute endlessly to ashrams and to people in spiritual groups. And, and I've also seen you being taken for granted by people, and I never liked it. Does anyone else have a question they would like to?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All the work you've done for me with my books and my this, endless, For God's sake, the birthday cakes you make, my God, they're memorable, you know. Just, big carrot cake full of love, extraordinary. So don't ever sell yourself short, Bob. You're an amazing person. I mean that. An amazing person. And you have really come a long way in your life. You really have. Does anyone else have a question? Okay. There'll be meditation on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Have a wonderful weekend. And begin to use these things, I mean, look, I always kid around and say the only person we live with 24 hours a day is ourselves. We're the only person we spend 24 hours a day with. We better really learn to like ourselves because you have no choice in the matter. You don't go away. So please, just love yourself, like yourself, understand that you're born here to have amazing lives. And that's what this is all about. So God bless you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody this week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. Love you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Stuart. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night.